if you guys can see, my scalp has been looking much more better nowadays. Retwisted my hair, and my scalp has never looked this healthy. I used to stray away from actually taking pictures of my hair because all I could see is just dry patches. So even if I did a really cute hairstyle, I never took pictures of it because my scalp just never seemed like it wanted to look good. But back to the product. I am the epitome of a Virgo. I'm an overthinker. I like to plan things in advance, so if I don't have a control over what's happening, I throw everything away. Before we get started with this video, let's learn a little bit about psoriasis, and if you were to look it up on the internet, what you might find. So on my phone, I just did a quick search. So psoriasis is categorized as immune-mediated disease that causes red, raised, scaly patches to appear on the skin. Now, these patches can appear anywhere. It can appear on your elbows, on your knees, on your scalp, on your neck, on your face, in all areas that you might be able to see this inflammation. It doesn't have one particular area. When you have psoriasis, your cells are reproducing at a multiplying rate. So a lot of times when you see these patches or you see these scales, it's gonna look as though you're possibly experiencing dandruff, but not to really categorize them all together. Very quick disclaimer, I am in no shape, form, or fashion someone that is a dermatologist or claims to have any medical experience. This feedback or these tips that I give you guys in my video is just gonna be very much focused around my experience with psoriasis. So I would always encourage you that if you feel like you might have psoriasis or any skin condition, always consult a dermatologist so that way you can get the correct diagnosis and know how to treat it exactly how it needs to be treated. My consumption of sugar. A lot of times when people say you are what you eat, that's so true. I realized that when I was eating a lot of sugar in excess, whether it was in my coffee or treats or desserts, I did realize that my inflammations were coming a little bit more frequently, and they were also a little bit more irritating. The first thing that I had to do is figure out when I did consume a lot of sugar, how soon after would I get a flare-up, or was my skin gonna act up and start to do some crazy things. Once I started to get an understanding of how much sugar really being the cause of it, I limited it, and it was gonna be something that I had to track, but it did make a huge difference. The other thing that was very important to make sure that I maintain and control was my stress level. If you're watching this video and you realize that when you stress and you have a lot on your plate, or you have a lot of stuff going on, that your skin starts to go haywire, whether it's pimples, whether it's body acne, whether it's, dry skin or whatever it might be, we sometimes carry stress in our skin. And I am the epitome of a Virgo. I'm an overthinker. I like to plan things in advance, so if I don't have a control over what's happening, I throw everything away. So I realized that stress was a main contributor to what was going on with my skin, and I knew that I had to get it under control. During this whole quarantine type of situation, I did subscribe to a CBD company that has been super helpful with keeping me mellow, keeping me calm, and making sure that I am not really always anxious and always on edge about stuff that I honestly can't control. And I've seen a significant change in the way that my scalp looks and how it feels just from me limiting my amount of stress and what I worry about, because I often can be a very worry wart, which is not fun. So if you're a stressor, this could be the main reason why your psoriasis has been out of control, or it feels as though you can't get it in control, because your body's reacting to how you feel. And if you feel like you're out of whack, then so is your skin. So make sure that you're getting that under control. The third thing that I realized was I might have allergies to certain products that I'm using. So nowadays it's very important to know what brands you're using, what are the sources of their ingredients, and are there things that you find that you're possibly having a reaction to that you don't know it's a reaction. Using very strong fragrances could be something that irritates or triggers your psoriasis. Other things could be the amount of salt or the amount of sulfur that's in a product could just be super drying, making the psoriasis even worse. Or it could even just be a chemical that just doesn't agree with you, and it just may not be something that you need to use or need to discontinue using in all of your products. So ingredients comes in huge when you're dealing with psoriasis. Another factor that I never thought was going to be something that to consider is I would scratch. I scratched a lot. So if you experience psoriasis, you know that your scalp gets very itchy, or wherever it's located on your body, it can be very itchy, and the first thing that you want to do is just scratch it. But if you think about it, our hands and underneath our nails carry a lot of dirt and a lot of bacteria. So if you're scratching and you're transferring bacteria and you're not washing your hands, that could be something that's feeding into this bacteria or this scaly patch on your skin that's really causing irritation, and it's not helping. Yes, it's relieving that itch right in the moment, but it's not going to make your skin feel better later on. And it can also be transferring bacteria that's not good for you to areas that you really don't want it to be. Another factor that people may not consider is weather change, or possibly a change in your body's chemistry. So whenever it gets really cold outside, we wear a lot of hats. So typically if I would be wearing a hat and I had a flare up, it would be almost as if my skin would be twice as dry, and that didn't really help. So the thing about psoriasis is the drier it is, the more itchier it is. So you want to make sure that whenever you're treating it, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is going to be something that keeps it moist throughout the day, so it's not really causing you to pay attention to the itchiness and how dry it is. When I tell people about, when your body isn't really in the best state, so say if you're sick with a cold, or if your immune system is compromised from an infection that could be anywhere in the body, it seemed as though my psoriasis would go crazy either before or right after. So when your immune is weak, or if you have a weakened immune system, this can be when the psoriasis is at its worst. So just keep in mind on what's going on with your body, and if you're trying to track what's really triggering it, it's going to be possibly you journaling to see what is causing certain reactions and when is your psoriasis at its worst. And this can take time, so it's not something that it's just going to go away overnight. It can go away for a small amount of time, but this is possibly something that you might be living with. So the best way to do your research to try to figure out how it's affecting you personally is to see what is causing things and how you can possibly keep the flare-ups at a minimum. And I'm looking at brands and I'm looking at products that I'm using on my hair, I always want to make sure that I can understand most of the ingredients, and that whatever I'm putting on my scalp is not going to cause anything that's going to be too strong as like a fragrance or something that is very chemically driven. And when you're looking at the ingredients on your packaging, that can really help you to figure out, is this something that I've used before, or is it in all of my products, or is this something that I need to research and see if it's going to cause more bad than good. So the first product line is going to be Dr.Locs. So if you are a person that has lock extensions, if you have natural locks, you've possibly heard about this brand. They are pretty heavy on social media, but I never really took the step to purchase a product until it was recommended to me by a client and very heavily pushed. But I'm so thankful that she did, because now I'm obsessed, and I feel as though their product line really focuses on making sure that the ingredients are very simple and that you're not getting an earful of things that may not be good for you. My favorite things, leave-in conditioner. So I'm going to be linking all products in the description box, but this is a coconut oil mix, and it's going to be very, very lightweight. I love that it has essential oils, and literally the ingredients on the front is so simple. Like, all of these are things that you possibly have in your pantry or in your bathroom, in your drawer, or your, I don't know, it's just so simple. And not to mention, I love that the spray nozzle definitely has the ability to stretch across the head, so I'm not having to spray in a crazy amount, and it's very lightweight, so that's awesome. The other product is the Yaya oil. So this is going to be a direct oil. So when I say direct, it's going to be just oil based. So there's nothing else that's mixed in it. And of course, all of the oils that are going to be in it, it's going to be listed here. I have learned that for me, grease is not my friend. even though oftentimes if I'm treating a psoriasis flare up on my face, I will use Vaseline, I will use Neosporin, I will use Aquaphora. Like, I use a lot of stuff to keep my skin moisturized, but on my scalp, it's just not happy with clogging my pores. So I do love oils that are infused with essential oils, and I make sure that I apply this pretty often. And I'll even do like a oil mix with some essential oils in my own mixture, and I'll use like an applicator bottle to be able to get it into my scalp, which, if you guys can see, my scalp has been looking much more better nowadays. And you know, I freshly retwisted my hair, and my scalp has never looked this healthy. And I used to stray away from actually taking pictures of my hair because all I could see is just dry patches. So even if I did a really cute hairstyle, I never took pictures of it because my scalp just never seemed like it wanted to look good. But back to the product. I also have a pre-cleanse. The pre-cleanse is a very lightweight spray that you put in the hair before you actually shampoo. I feel as though this is really nice for people that experience product buildup. So if you like apple cider vinegar and you use it just as a pure ingredient by itself, this is going to be something that is very easy to apply, and you can actually focus it on the scalp. And I love that the apple cider vinegar kind of acts as like a cleanser, so it kind of relieves a little bit of that time, or it takes away from that time where you have to feel like you're scrubbing your scalp just to get the flakes away. But it does kind of allow things to break up and make it move a little bit easier when you get into your shampoo. So their shampoo is the Jinan shampoo, and again, the ingredients are right on the front. This stuff smells heavenly. The whole collection smells really nice. They have a very nice lemongrass scent to it. So what I love to do is when I'm done with myself or with clients, I like to, of course, shampoo, and then I love to put the leave-in conditioner on the hair and put them underneath the dryer. And literally the fumes and all the great smells just kind of, you know, it's almost like aromatherapy, but it does soothe the scalp, but it's also very relaxing. And I always tell people, if you're stressed or if you're, you know, feeling tension, a lot of times that could be triggering your psoriasis to act up as well. So try to keep it calm and use products that are going to not just, you know, make your hair clean, but you want to make your scalp feel happy as well. So I always focus on scalp care versus hair care, because that's where everything is rooted from. Hey, if you haven't already, it's not too late to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video so you can see me in more of your searches, and share this with friends and family, and comment below what you love so far. The next brand that I'll be showing you guys is going to be Pattern. So if you are a Girlfriends fan from back in the day, and if you haven't noticed, or if you don't know, Tracee Ellis Ross came out with a collection called Patterns. So because I already have my shampoo and my conditioner and my leave-in from Dr.Locs, this is the two products that I use from her collection. So she recently came out with styling products that have really been a game changer, and I love that she keeps it very simple, but there's also something for everybody. So I have her hydrating spray, which is like a mist. So oftentimes when you can't get to water, you can't get to your spray bottle, this is always what I like to use to kind of keep my scalp nice and moist. So that way, if it feels a little dry, I can do a little spritz, and that way I'm kind of feeding the lack of water that's in my hair, especially if I have styles in like this, so I'm able to mist and it's not going to mess up my style. The other cool thing is she came out with an edge control. So clearly I use this sucker a lot because the products are starting to smear the name, but I am always open to finding out new brands that offer edge control. But hers, it actually has a very nice sunflower scent to it. So if you look inside, it has like a nice like little, it's clear, but it more really has like a yellow tint to it. But I love that it's a very good edge control. My advice is always put it on dry hair. You get that nice texture and that nice smoothness and control that you need. The next product line was a huge surprise for me. She's come out with a hair care line for all types of hair, but the one thing that I loved about this collection is that she does have a line that's really geared towards scalp care. And this has been a brand that I did not know existed until I was at Target one day and I walked in and I saw her packaging and I had to do a little bit of research, but it was something that was a nice, pleasant surprise. All-time favorite so far is going to be her scalp scrub. So it's called Never Salty, but doesn't have salt in it, but it does have it's a sugar base, and it's for the scalp and for the hair. And the cool thing is if you can see, it's for all hair types, and she has a cool little nozzle that you're able to put the product right on the scalp, so you're not just wasting product within the hair. It smells very, very nice, and I love that it's just enough to kind of exfoliate, but your scalp feels nice and calm after it. She has her Master Cleanse, and then she also has her Mint Conditioner. So the Master Cleanse is going to be a targeted scalp wash, so it's going to be mainly for the cleansing of the scalp, and it's also going to have the Mint Conditioner. This stuff, you guys, is phenomenal. It leaves a nice tingly mint feeling to the scalp, but it doesn't feel like a menthol medicated mint scent, which I really, really love, because I've used a lot of different products where it feels like I literally just dipped my head in menthol and it feels like it's too much chemicals, where this feels like a nice essential oil that's really focused on awakening the scalp and making it feel like it's nice and new. And this definitely tingles, but it softens and it moisturizes the hair. And oftentimes when I rinse it out, I do feel like my hair feels much softer when I do. So these two have been my go-to favorites. I was using a little bit more of the shampoo for the scalp. I got the Honey Fresh, which is her shampoo as well. And the cool thing is it's a clarifying shampoo, but it's for moisture, and it's for all hair types as well. So it's gonna cleanse, detox, and then it's also hydrating. So I love, 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 love that I have options, but I mainly always wanna focus on that scalp care. And the cool thing is her packaging is so cute. I love all the monochromatic, everything that is super, 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 super simple. But it's just, it's eye-catching, and I'm super satisfied with it. So if you do suffer from psoriasis and you have textured hair, I encourage you to check all of these brands out. This is not a paid sponsorship. This is all of the products that I use for myself and I've purchased and I've realized helps tremendously with my psoriasis, and it definitely keeps my scalp moisturized throughout my styles. And I feel as though the ingredients are super simple, but I'm also being able to track if I was to have an irritation, so I can maybe track back to the source. So now that we've covered products that have been super helpful for my experience with my scalp and making sure that I'm keeping it moisturized and hydrated, what if you have buildup? Or what if you have an itch? So there's one product that, or one item that I like to use when I feel as though I'm shampooing, so that way I'm not using my nails and I'm not transferring bacteria, is a nice silicone scalp scrub. So I love that you're able to put your hand here, and if I need to scrub around my head, I'm not breaking the skin to do so. So oftentimes if you've had psoriasis flare-ups, you know that your skin is open and it's very vulnerable to any bacteria or anything that can come in contact with it. So I try to keep my nails away, and I try to make sure that I'm using things that are gonna get a good scrub going, but it's not gonna break my skin or irritate my skin even more. Ingredients to stay away from, or things and items to stay away from. So if you use products that have a lot of alcohol in it, it can possibly be causing your psoriasis to be more dry than it would typically be. The other thing is making sure that when you are maybe using extension hair, or if you're doing protective hairstyles, that you're not allergic to the hair. Synthetic hair, hair that's coated in chemicals, hair that has been outsourced from other places, always make sure that you wash the hair and you pre-treat the hair, so that way when you put it on your hair, or if you're installing, that it's not irritating your scalp. A lot of people do have allergies to synthetic hair, but oftentimes it may not be the synthetic fibers. It could also be the products or the chemicals that are coated on the hair as well, to keep it nice and fresh for transportation, or just for it to sit on the shelf. Tension. So if you're like me, you like to do a slick style, pull it up and out of the way, but tension sometimes can be the culprit of the irritation of your scalp and possibly hair loss. So before I knew that my psoriasis was going to possibly cause more damage than what I knew, I was wearing tight buns and I was keeping my hair pulled away. And when I would have a flare-up, if I didn't be careful. I could actually lose hair in those areas that the flare-up was. So making sure that you're not pulling your hair too tight, you're not wearing headbands that are going to cause pulling from areas, whether it's the back of your head or the front of your head. Also making sure that you're not keeping your hair tight for long periods of time. That can also be another indicator that your scalp can't breathe and you're not really helping the health of your scalp as well. As mentioned before, your nails. So your nails and underneath your fingernails can carry bacteria. So if you have to scratch, wash your hands or use an item that can help scratch it for you. So oftentimes you can see picks, you can see rat tail combs, you can even see devices like this where it allows for you to kind of scratch a little bit so that way you're not transferring bacteria. But you want to keep your hands away from your flare-ups and making sure that you're not causing more irritation to travel or infect the actual flare-up that you're having. One of my main stressors, or my biggest culprit, is stress. So if you feel as though you are getting worked up, or if you're anxious, or if you feel as though your anxiety has been on a new high, you can expect for your psoriasis to be at its worst. So if you feel as though you need to decompress, if you need to take a break, if you need to just figure out what the root of your stress is, that's going to be huge for helping your skin to get back to normal. As I mentioned before, I did invest in a CBD subscription because I needed something to calm my nerves, and it has been something that's been super, super awesome. I'm going to link the company in the detail box, and I'm also going to show you guys what that product looks like right here. It's an oil that I use that I can infuse it in my coffee, or I can infuse it in my food, or even my smoothies. But it's been something that's kind of kept me calm and kept me centered and allows me to not really sweat the small stuff. And ever since I stopped doing that, I've noticed that my stress has been at bay. And everyone has their vices. Mine just happens to be CBD. Second tip is turn down the heat. If you are a person that likes to shampoo or rinse your hair in scalding hot water, and this goes for your body and even goes for your face, oftentimes you're going to notice that your skin is going to be much drier than what you would like it to. If you're a person that notices that you have red skin after you get out the shower, or your face is always really dry, try cutting down your water to half the temperature that it is, or even rinsing with warm water so that way you're not drying out your skin a little bit more. And the same with psoriasis. So if you're having a flare-up, or if you've ever washed your hair or took a shower and you're noticing that your flare-up or your areas of infection or irritation is super red and it looks super irritated, it's because that hot water is not really helping the state of your irritation. Make sure that you're kind of keeping it in the middle. We all love a hot shower, but your last rinse for everything should always be with cool water. That's going to bring the skin to a nice safe place, and it's not going to feel as irritated or as itchy once you're done. Always saturate with moisturizer. I used to have very bad flare-ups on my face, and I'm going to possibly try to show a picture of it right here. What I noticed is I can see these dry patches, and when I tried to do makeup, my makeup would never look as smooth as, say, it is today. I often would get patches in here. It would show up underneath my eyebrows. It would be on my lip, my nose, and I really didn't want to wear makeup because it would just stand out so much. So when I would go to bed, I would always take my my moisturizer at the time. So whether it was Aquafina, that's water, whether it was Aquaphora, or if it was Vaseline's my personal favorite, I would make sure that the spot that I was treating, I would saturate it. So that way throughout the night, if I was sleeping, that moisture was locked into that flare-up, and I would always wake up the next morning and it would be less itchy. It would almost seem as though the inflammation went down, and it almost would feel as though it was being hydrated. The other product that I learned about for my flare-ups when I was really itchy and I felt irritation was going to be cortisone. Cortisone is something that you always want to have on hand. If you feel that the itch is getting uncontrollable, just make sure that you put a small little spot or like a dab on it, so that way you're controlling the itch and you're not tempted to scratch it and make it worse. Whenever I would have a flare-up that I felt like wasn't really letting up or trying to heal, I would always do a apple cider vinegar rinse. And almost all of the products that I showed you today does have a little bit of apple cider vinegar in their products, or they have a product that is focused around the apple cider vinegar. But oftentimes with apple cider vinegar, it does have a lot of benefits. So if you don't know about it, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but look it up. It is good for natural healing. It is good for keeping out any bacteria, but there's gonna be good properties that are within that product. So you can either put it on your skin, you can consume it. So there's so many benefits of it. But that has been the ongoing ingredient that I've kind of chased and focused just to make sure that I'm incorporating it into my healing process with my psoriasis. I can't stress enough how much that you really want to focus on what is contributing to this, so that way you can get control of it, because this is something that a lot of people are plagued with. And when I say plagued, it's one of those things where it can be a dark cloud. And if you've ever suffered from skin conditions, whether it be acne, whether it be dryness, whether it be oily skin or psoriasis or rosacea or any other skin condition, it's not fun. I am going to be bringing a video to you guys for my skin regimen as far as my face. This video mainly focused on my scalp because I do treat them completely different. But I will say, over this journey, I've learned that there's different ways to boost your confidence, and getting my scalp under control was one major factor that I had. But always make sure that if you feel as though your skin condition is not getting better, or if it's worsening, always make sure that you consult a doctor. Never self-diagnose. And if you feel as though you can't get a handle on it, there's always going to be options. But whenever you start to get worked up, that's also not helping as well. But if you guys have any other questions about psoriasis, or if I've left out anything in this video, please feel free to drop a comment and like this video, so that way I know that you guys have received some really good information. It has been awesome to be able to share my journey, and I hope to see you guys next time.